The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. And I'm here to tell you that today might have been the greatest bear trap of all time. Now we see the Nasdaq pulling back right to our previous all-time high established back here June 20th. Again, to the tick right into that level, as you can see, getting a little bit of a bounce. We're not out of the woodworks yet. Tomorrow we have more data, but today we're going to talk a little bit about CPI and what happened there, because everyone's like, why are we dropping? What happened here? Now we're going to talk about these levels here, but first we need to attack some of the key bullet points in front of us, because again, everyone keeps asking the same question. So let's attack those first. Now, number one, CPI. Very much so the right direction. Probably like this is probably best case scenario for CPI coming out. Despite oil bouncing and some of the concerns we had, CPI came out great. Really on core CPI, the first real decline on overall inflation, not just a slowdown, but a decline here. What you really wanted to see. Gas prices, again, this is worrisome going into July, like you're going into the end of July, going into August, because like maybe gas prices aren't being priced in yet. We'll talk about that in a second. Electricity prices declining. Again, electricity being down in the summer, pretty wild. Rent has at its smallest monthly increase. Again, you have to expect rent prices to stay at least where they're at, if not rise, while mortgage rates are extremely high. If you cannot buy a home, how will the price of rents go down? Supply and demand logic. We have to just keep that there. Those are your big points there. Now, what I will say, on top of CPI, I want to paint the other picture of areas that have been an issue, right? And so you'll see this from the other side of people saying, well, these areas are still highly inflated. Car insurance. Okay. Car insurance is inflated. That's keeping America down. Transportation services. Okay, your bus, your plane tickets. Okay, hospital services. This is just capital America, like capitalistic America. Come on, like that's just insurance companies. Car repair, electricity inflation, homeowner inflation, rent inflation. So again, rent and homeowner inflation. How can homeowner inflation and rent prices drop? You got to raise rates. Okay, we got to cut rates. Sorry, food away from home. So again, food away from home inflation. Restaurants. Let's be real. Okay, as long as consumers will still pay that, they're not going to drop. Okay, that's just the reality of the situation. And we're moving towards people just pay for food away from home now. But food at home, etc., has all dropped based on this chart. Okay, so things to be looking at. So again, we look at what happened there, and the market today looks like this: dark red and a lot. And when we look at the red, it's funny because you have half green, half red. And what's red here? Semis and tech. Semis and tech are the story of red on the day. Okay, that is the story. The other side of the market, such as healthcare, drug manufacturers, banks, very bullish. Okay, so let's paint that picture first. Let's really understand. Tech is getting destroyed. All of our big tech names we love to trade: Apple, Google, Microsoft, or semis, NVDA. Those are all getting hit. But when we look at the Dow today, this is the Dow. Dow looks great. The Dow looks fantastic. You go to the daily, and again, this is something we've been talking about. This is something we're talking about right here. Okay, this is wild. This is your pennant. You're on the verge. You haven't broke out yet. I don't want to spook it, but you're on the verge. Okay, pretty wild. Trying to break out here. Okay, and again, you go to ES SPY, the S&P 500. Not great. Not a great one. Almost an bearish engulfing, but pull back. And you go to NQ, which is where all the selling occurred, right? Again, tech. Okay, that's what's happening there. Now, again, what were we talking about? The CPI, what did we want to see? Okay, what was the big areas broad market? We want to see the dollar drop. The dollar, obviously, did drop drastically from that data, continuing to drop down to our key level and bouncing, staying at the 200 SMA. Okay, as expected with good data. The 30-year yield dropping drastically back down, retesting our level, but we want to see that work towards 4.2%. Okay, that's what we wanted to see. What areas would benefit the most from a rate cut potentially coming very soon, which we got to talk about here in a second? XLF, the bank sector, right? Because the banks rely on loans, basically. That's premise here. Well, XLF is about to erupt. I've been talking about XLF for a few weeks now. Okay, you are about ready to erupt. This goes back to 2024 March. Okay, understand this. This thing looks tough. You're already above your previous all-time high back from 2022. But again, you look explosive. Now the next step, okay, the next step from this, we look a little bit at these names, right? Let's look at like XLV, right? Let's look at healthcare. Okay, again, looking explosive. XLI Industrial has been getting whacked, bouncing up, trying to break back into those highs, right? Look at some of the big names in particular. JP Morgan at all-time highs. Bank of America reports earnings tomorrow. All-time highs, basically. Wells Fargo sitting up there, right? Morgan Stanley, all-time highs. Goldman Sachs, all-time highs. Again, guys, I'm trying to tell you, there's warning signs across the board. And there's times when you get big opportunity across the board. And I'm going to be posting a lot of this on Twitter, so I recommend you're on there. But again, this is one of those times where we're seeing that rotation really take place. Now, the next step from this, right? IWM, the Russell, okay? I don't want to start jumping on the Russell train and everyone saying, oh man, time to get mid caps. Let me ask Tyler about my favorite penny stock. Okay, relax. Okay, we're almost there. But again, what do we say here on Russell? We said mid caps will start to get love when rate cuts are on the table. And it's almost every bank is now pricing in rate cuts coming into September now, which that could change. Okay, it's not, the Fed hasn't said that could change. Okay, but IWM, you got from 203, you end the day near 211, monster day. So despite seeing the Nasdaq, and everyone's panicking about the Nasdaq having a 2% dip when you've gone up like 10% over the past 2 months, right? Where no one's talking about the 10% rally, we're only talking about the 2% pullback right now, right? But I'm telling you guys, this is what you wanted to happen. IWM ticking off here. These are the big signs going into this. Remember the beginning of the year? Remember November? IWM got involved. That's when we saw the fireworks. So this is what we wanted to see. And IWM, I'm telling you, this is really heating up. I'm excited about what I'm seeing here. Now, again, and I have to go over this before we go into the tech names because we got the best case scenario for myself. Okay. Now, also too. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I told you guys, I post a lot of this stuff on Twitter, so if you don't follow, I recommend doing so, Tyler Wilson 119. I post stock updates, I post what I'm trying to trade throughout the day, different setups, etc. It's all there for you. Like I told you the whole pullback today on the Nasdaq. So again, the link is down below. Make sure you check it out. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right now. You look good. You look pretty interesting. Now, the area here is on Nasdaq. And Nasdaq, I think Nasdaq ended the day at a pretty critical area for us. Now, there's two things that I'm watching here on the Nasdaq. So let's be really clear before we go any further, okay? Number one, I would love to see the Nasdaq not dip any further from this point. I would love to see us hold that level. That's it. Okay, but if we do, okay, what you're looking for here is QQQ. You're looking for QQQ to hold 487.15. That's your level. That is it. That's the most bullish case scenario. Now, if you start to dip below that, it's going to get choppy. It shouldn't be a straight knife through it. But the dip down, we knew today was going to be a knife through. That's why I said yesterday, you're pricing in all this good data, especially on the side of tech. Stocks, I mean, if we really look at NASDAQ over the past 10 days, like NASDAQ went straight up for 10 days. Like, let's be totally realistic. Like this is real. July 1st through today, you went up in a straight line. So understand that. So the pullback here, I love it. I've been waiting. This is cool. This is like how we made all the money on Apple before. Great example. So that's what we want to see. So if I get a pullback tomorrow on NASDAQ or tech, that's what I'm looking for. I don't think a pullback lasts for long. Unless PPI data is just like terrible, I don't see I don't see a pullback lasting that long personally. Now, again, I'll have all this posted on Twitter when I see more setups and things along those lines. Okay, and I'll keep you guys posted of when I think a bottom is hit. Because again, I can only post updates throughout the day on Twitter, so hopefully that makes logical sense here. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. ES. I don't even think there's too much to track here on ES because you didn't even get a relative pullback in comparison to what happened on the NASDAQ. Okay. Now the ES, you have some tech names here, but it's like a mix. It's like a mixed bag here, right? So you're still holding up very well. If you pull back more, you're looking for a pullback into 55.90 on ES. The S&P, SPY, again, relatively speaking, you didn't pull back that much, right? From highs, you pulled back 6 points total. Nothing crazy. If you get more of a pullback, I'm looking into like 550, 549. That's where I'd be looking there, okay? Again, you'd have to break below 542 for this to really start breaking down towards 532. So that's what I'm watching for, 550 overall, okay? So you want to see a bounce if you start seeing selling occur, which I don't think it will, okay? Important to understand those viewpoints right now. Now, we know my broad market viewpoint, how I'm looking at this. Hopefully this makes sense. Again, when I see days like this, especially because we have to understand what we're looking for fundamentally on the market. When I see days when you get exactly what you want on the data, and I see NVIDIA pull back almost 6%, absurd. I see AMD is actually held up really, really great, right? TSM, AVGO, right? Google back down to 187. Meta pulled back to 512, arguably the steal of the week. Apple back at 227. Apple, another monster play here. Amazon back at 195. Again, these are your opportunities. Everyone wants to buy when you're pushing highs and you're this and you're that. Guys, I don't know what you're doing. Okay. Relax. Also, you guys, we're going to be going over options here on Moomoo. Just to let you know, this is the broker I use for all my trades. The link is down below, so make sure you check them out. But yeah, let's go really quickly and start breaking down into some of these equities. So I want to make sure this is really clear. If you have questions, comment down below. I'll try to answer your questions, or comment on Twitter. Twitter is actually the best place for me to answer any questions. Let you know. I try to really have the best back and forth, as long as you're speaking in logic and not crazy questions like, is Netflix going to the moon? I'm not going to answer that. So have some thought out questions. But again, let's go into these equities and what we're covering here. Now, number one, let's cover Tesla. Tesla was wild today. So Tesla as a whole, you're coming back down to that trend, but I want to kind of get rid of this for now. I'm looking for a few things here on Tesla. So if you don't know, Tesla had a great run this morning, pushing into 270, 271, ready for the breakout. But then all of a sudden, something happens. Shit hits the fan. Elon Musk, took a dump in our Cheerios, right? So right here at highs, you get the big data, and this is where things really crush us, okay? You get the Tesla news. Again, Tesla, thanks, but no thanks. They basically put off they were supposed to have the robo-taxi event and debut, I think, August 8th. They pushed that back to, I think, October, somewhere in October. Hurt them, okay? Delayed, said a few reasons why. I don't think Musk made any comments. That was reported from Bloomberg. You proceeded to drop from 270 down to 240. Now, Tesla, as easy as you went up is as easy as you can go down. Even if the market looks bullish, I'm going to tell you right now, Tesla has a history of doing its own thing. So all I'm watching right here, especially tomorrow, is your reaction of their 200 SMA on the weekly. 200 weekly, 200 daily. That's all you got to remember, okay? If you break below 231, it is a fantastic downside play. I'm going to tell you right now, it is going to be fantastic down towards 213, 212. Like it, love it, don't care, okay? Now, if you hold that level, I think you look fine. You could trade easily back to the upside. And then next level down to 206. Keep it simple. That's your support. Above it, you look fine. Below it, you look terrible. That's simple. Don't ask me crazy questions. It's that simple. I don't know how to say it. You also have earnings coming up on Tesla, so beware. Okay, next up, NVIDIA. And we can go over some Tesla options here. I've been trading next week contracts on Tesla, so anything you see me posting, it's next week's. If it's early in the week, I'll trade a weekly on Tesla. The 235s have moved really good. The 240s moved really good today. You could have done something if you really wanted to, like the 230s, but again, it's up to you. They all move really good. Great movement overall. You can see the volatility here, like here on the 235s, what I was primarily trading. Around 130, you drop down to lows of 460, ended up popping back up at the end of the day near 580. So you're making your money there. Okay, they move fine. That's what I'd be trading personally. Next up, NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA had a great move, and NVIDIA hit our level. Like NVIDIA, it did what we wanted it to, but it didn't have the reaction we wanted it to, right? And so NVIDIA came into our level 136, popped right into it, okay? Now, again, if you don't believe me, I've been tracking this heavily on Twitter as well. I posted it even yesterday, okay? Made it very clear yesterday when it goes into our levels. I want to make sure this is all very clear because it's all there. I make sure I try to be as transparent as possible. I don't delete tweets or anything like that either, okay? Literally, me waiting on NVIDIA to break into 136. That's literally yesterday. So again, our key level, you hit it, you rejected off of it, and then ultimately you fell down with the market. And people always say, hey, Tyler, what's wrong with this stock or that stock? Well, if your stock is in Nasdaq, and it's a heavy tech name, NVIDIA is a top 5 holding in the Nasdaq, and the Nasdaq pulls back 500, 600 points, well, most likely your stock is going to pull back with the Nasdaq. Like, spoiler alert. Common sense wins the day again. But NVIDIA, as a whole, if you get back above 130, I still love it. Even on the dip here, I'm looking for buying opportunities, okay? But back above 130, I love it a lot. Again, the contracts that I've been talking to you guys a lot about were the Octobers and even the Septembers. And I want to be really clear and transparent here, right? I don't want to show my gains on this because I think, again, that's a little bit maybe I'm doing something else. But in Discord, and it's on Twitter as well. You can see NVIDIA, Coop from Discord, 4K on NVIDIA. She also had the other ones where she made almost 18K. I'm sorry, Coop, for exposing your gains. Sorry. And she made another 11K, right? So again, like if you just pay attention, and do your own research, things kind of work out. So NVIDIA, let's go look at those contracts. Again, heavy on the dated contracts here so you can capture a lot of this move. Again, the 130s, you hit highs yesterday. Okay, you hit those around 14. No, that's actually today. $14 or $15 on the contracts today. Okay, you go back to where you can, and they're only down at 14 now. Pretty bizarre. You could have bought these on the 5th at $12 a contract. Worth mentioning, around $12 each a contract. And the highest they got to was 18.5 here today. Yeah, 18.5 was the highs on the day. Wild. So again, do your research. Again, these are just options that I'm liking, what I'm playing. And I think you're finding a lot of value on these names. Personal opinion. Okay. I like NVIDIA a lot. Dated con. You can go shorter dated, but I think the dated just give you a better option. Again, you want to be back above 130 preferably, or start basing around 126 again. If you get below 125.5, be cautious. I'm going to tell you that right now. AMD, I still think AMD is an absolute dog in this race right now. Let's be really clear and transparent about what we're looking at here, okay? Let's actually get rid of 187. That was one of our targets, but it was a shorter dated target, okay? On the daily, I still think above 180, AMD looks fantastic. Above 184, though, a hold above 184, 185, you can't hold it here on the daily, as you can see. I believe you push back into $200 above 185. That's my personal opinion. I think the data that came out is very good. I think earnings season is starting right now, and earnings have been hot, and the consumer has stayed very strong. I'm optimistic for AMD. They just also acquired Silo AI. The pullbacks here are presenting pretty big opportunities. Now, again, let's look at the ETF for semiconductors, ASMH. You broke all-time highs today, and you pulled back, okay? You want to see us back above 272.5, 273. That's what you want to see. Back above that, you're cooking with gas. Absolutely beautiful. Again, I love it. I think AMD is a much cheaper option to NVIDIA, and you can get more time. So if I wanted to, I can go something like January's and the 200s. Again, they're kind of expensive, but you can wait till after earnings if you want to make it a little bit of a cheaper play. Do whatever you want to do. I'm going to tell you right now. Again, I like to have time on these contracts. So I like to capture the move. You want to, you can go something like October's as well. 200s, $12 right there. High on these contracts is $15. So again, they're holding up well. The low on today was 1060. So again, if you bought down at the lows, that was your opportunity there. So again, I love these plays. And again, I think you're getting those opportunities across the board. Now, again, don't just YOLO into these tomorrow. You need to wait. Make sure you're finding buyers on Nasdaq. But again, this is what we really want to see. Make that clear. Okay. CrowdStrike. Okay. I'm trying to go over all the names I can think of right now. Or Meta. Sorry, I'll go over CrowdStrike here in a second. Meta. Back below 514. Get it back below 514. I love it, to be honest. You're probably going to push back down towards 510. I would suspect. But yeah, hold 510. You look great. I don't know why I took that level off. But anyway, it's literally back here. You can see all the wicks back here. So hold above that. You look good. Want to get back above 514 for confirmation. Very illiquid between 514 to 530. We made a lot of money on that last week. Do what you got to do. Definitely watching Meta. The contracts are a little bit expensive as well, especially because of earnings. So again, I don't want to go too heavy into those either. CrowdStrike. Now, this is an interesting one. I mentioned this one yesterday. You came right back down into our key level, our previous all-time high from March 5th. You're holding that level. All I'm waiting for and all I'm watching for is CrowdStrike to hold that level. You have earnings coming up, and man, I think a week or two, I want to say. So that's the only thing that's really might hinder you is earnings. But I do think, September 3rd, you actually have a while. You have plenty of time. This is probably one of the better opportunities, actually, because you're not going to have to trade earnings. You can go mid-August and really capture that move back to the upside. CrowdStrike is a volatile name, so make sure you understand that. It's a riskier name. But I was waiting primarily for this to get above 393. As long as it's above 365, I'm bullish. I think the sector as a whole is very bullish as well. Other names like this is ZS above the 200 SMA, another awesome entry opportunity if you're above the 200 SMA there. Pan W, the Nancy Pelosi special. Want to get back above 333, but you look good there as well. Those are names I like. Those are names I love. Those are names I'd be watching. Amazon. very interesting here. You had a little level here at 194. I just haven't been tracking it as much. But again, you're holding this. You're making a higher low potentially on higher time frames. What you want to see, an awesome base down here too. You're basing on the chart. This is what you want to see, creating support down here now. If I bring up the order block, I'm almost willing to bet that, yep, it establishes one there, right? So you can see, finding those buyers off those levels. I think Amazon's still very strong. I think that today it got hurt because Tesla got slapped. Now, granted, Amazon wasn't going anywhere because of 200, and Jeff Bezos apparently just selling it all at $200. But I believe, going into next week, the opportunity arises. This could be a big winner for us. I like Amazon a lot. My favorite long-term stocks right now, I'm going to tell you right now, besides like semiconductors, okay? My favorite, if I'm buying them, gun to my head, Tyler, are they going to make you money? Not financial advice, do your own due diligence. It's Amazon, especially down here now, Amazon and Apple. I think Amazon and Apple are absolute juicers. I think they are juicers, right? Apple. Now, I'm trying to be cautious here. I'm really trying. Because I remember I kept telling you guys the 2020 contracts and those things went berserk. Okay, I sold some, but now I'm trying to reload my entire position. I love this thing. If there is some way in the world that the Lord blesses us and this thing gets a retest of 220, 221, guys, I don't know what I'll do. I really don't know what. I'll make some bad risk management decisions if it does. I think at 225, 226, it's still a good opportunity, possible flag. That's why I'm so heavy on just like saying you need to be patient and wait here to see how Qs respond and if buyers can step in. Because I don't want to jump the gun yet. Now, you did bounce at a major level on Nasdaq. I will say that. But I don't want to jump the gun and say go long yet and I'm buying all this. Because right now I'm still very liquid. Right? I have a few positions that are still long, but nothing crazy. Okay? Again, you want to wait for that confirmation. And again, I'll post on Twitter. I'm not going to gatekeep for just Discord. I'm not going to do that. I'm a man of the people, right? I'm a man of the people, right? I'm like the Nacho Libre of what we do here, okay? Understand that. So make sure you're following on Twitter because I'll keep you guys posted like I do every single day. But again, guys, I can't fight it. I can't fight the feeling that this is a massive trap across the board. I love these plays. I probably should have went over more stocks. I could have gone over more stocks today, guys. To be honest, I could. But it's just like, I don't want to like just like overpopulate the video and make it 30 minutes long. But I just love where we're at. Last name I'll mention is Micron. If Micron holds 130.55, your previous all-time high here from April 4th, guys, oh my God. Beautiful setups. I said it yesterday too. You bounce at that level, you move back into 136. You've done it like 3 times. So again, guys, there's so many plays up here. There really is. You're just waiting for confirmation from buyers. And I genuinely believe you're getting another massive opportunity. It seems like rate cuts are right in front of us now, right? Unemployment continues at 4. Someone's gonna say jobless. I don't care about jobless claims. Unemployment rate is at 4.1%. Inflation is dropping rapidly. This is everything that you want to see. Okay, in my opinion, what I'm looking at. If you have questions, comment down below. I'll see you on Twitter. I'll see you tomorrow. Keep barking. Keep eating, dogs. Again, if you're interested, the Moo link is down below. I appreciate all the support. But again, this is just who I use as a broker. My favorite broker. I use them for everything I do. I actually have an educational video hopefully coming out very soon going over the platform. And then also, too, guys, if you want to use our indicators, too, the link is down below for Lux. I will use code OD40 for 40% off. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, traders.